You need most of it.
Most of them. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call a special meeting of council to order Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. Approval of the agenda, please. Councillor Norbury.
For the June 8th, 2021 special meeting of council agenda be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Lehman. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. So tonight we are doing Zoom and live stream for the first time. So the council chambers can see the Zoom screen, but the live stream cannot. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So not sure how this is going to work, so we'll see how it goes, but please have some patience with our technology here. So also this evening we have the Community Forest representatives, Board Representative Al Kangas and the Executive Director Duncan as well. Okay, thank you. So under new business 3.1, we have the Tumbler Ridge Community Forest Corporation Limited Partnership. Councillor Howe?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, have we thought this through about discussions that we're going to have that may concern legal issues within this? Like, is this something that should be enclosed or?
Yeah, so our legal opinion that we did receive is still enclosed.
Right.
But we can talk about how we've been advised and what our legal opinion advised us. Councillor Howe?
So who's going to monitor us when we're discussing stuff that's coming from closed if we say the wrong thing? Are we going to be monitored by our CAO? Like, are you going to butt in if we start saying something that's outside of, and that's the risk we want to take rather than just do this in a closed meeting?
Yeah, at this
Okay.
point. Yeah. Okay. And who do we have on Zoom? Ms. Thompson?
Jan Legaspi.
We have Jan Legaspi, Marsha Dufresne, and I'm not sure who. Oh, Derek from KPMG.
Derek's our spokesman from KPMG.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So everybody's cameras are off and so are their mics. So they are just coming online with their cameras right now.
Councillor Howe?
So KPMG is here representing the community forest,
Correct.
and we don't have anybody representing the district of Tumbler.
Correct.
KPMG is the one that gave the community forest the bad advice last time,
Gave advice to them about the limited partnership.
which was wrong from what our lawyers told us.
Correct.
Okay, and we're not gonna have anybody join from our side to verify that.
Nope.
Okay, awesome. Sorry.
Report dated June 8th, 2021 from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding a request from the Tumbler Ridge Community Forest to change from corporation to limited partnership. I'd like to move for discussion. Seconder, Councillor Norbury. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, so welcome everybody on Zoom as well. So like I was saying, we did receive, excuse me, some legal opinion in regards to a limited partnership. And what we were told was basically any assets or cash that is not being held for the operations of the community forest would be considered held by the district. So in that case, the district's investments have to follow the community charter. And currently, I don't believe that the investment is doing that at this time. So the downfall of moving to a limited partnership would be that the investments would need to be invested according to the community charter. I'm curious.
In response, it's difficult for us to talk about that because that's new information to us. Certainly, we can go back and investigate with our lawyers and our account, give them that information and just see where that ends up.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's not a process we want to go through. We're just looking at, as our only shareholder, we're looking at ways to save some money. And if we become liable for, to become 100% taxable, there's income that we're losing. 11%, in the range of 11% of our total earnings can be taxable. And that's money that doesn't go back to the community or to our shareholder.
That's right. And
It's the only reason we brought it up.
yep, and absolutely, and we're all looking for options to make things better, most definitely. I'm kind of curious on KPMG's stance on that, of the assets not operational of the community forest would be held by the district of Tumbler Ridge. I'm kind of curious on their take on that.
Derek, are you on? Okay, I'm gathering you heard what the mayor had, His Honor had brought forth from their legal people. Okay, do you have an opinion on it that you can let us? And seriously, if this is new information from the community forest standpoint, it's difficult for us to come forward with opinion until we evaluate it. But certainly, Derek, if you can, please do. Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah, Councillor Howe?
Yeah, we were given the advice by our tax consultants and lawyer that the information that KPMG gave to the community forest is not accurate. And we were given different advice. We were told that we should stay a corporation, we should not change to a limited partnership because it won't give us what community forest came forward and said it would give them, which is the ability to invest outside of the community forest. So that's why I wanted to have our folks on this call today as well as you guys.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, Council? Councilor Norbury?
My only comment would be towards an open sharing of information. How, obviously our information that we have collected is still in a closed proceeding. So how can we get this information to the community forest? So I think that is obstacle here. I mean, it's the first time the community forest has heard about this. I know it's hard to formulate an opinion until we get a chance to digest it, chew on it, and really go through it, right? So I think this is important to moving forward.
Ms. Thompson, what are our options for the legal opinion to be shared? Sorry, Al?
If I could jump in here. One of the options that we had that was suggested to us by KPMG comes at a cost, but that's to go get a determination from CRA before anything happens. And that would have been, that hasn't been brought to the Community Forest Board yet, but at our next meeting, before we went through any process to look at changing the corporate structure, I was going to suggest we go to CRA first and just get that determination. We think that there's going to be a $5,000 charge to it, so be it. And that may just clear this whole matter up, one way or the other.
Certainly, if there's a determination by CRA that the district wouldn't be considered or those assets wouldn't be considered held by the district.
Yep.
They would still be considered held by the community forest. I think it's a good move, but at this point, we're being told that it would be held by the district and that those investments would be deemed under the community charter. Duncan, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to maybe perhaps poke Derek a little bit here. Sort of, Derek, you know, you and I have been talking about this for well over a year now. You mentioned all sorts of other firms, other companies that have this similar issue or problem, be it a First Nation on some lands, you know, in North Vancouver, other community forests. Could you perhaps elaborate why you brought this forward, and what your experience is with others that have had this issue and why they provide the solution of a limited partnership versus staying as a corporation?
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that concept, but the First Nations don't have to abide by the community charter either. So I think that's really where our hiccup is, I believe. Mhm. Hmm. Right. Okay. So, Ms. Thompson, sorry, Duncan.
Sorry, I just have a bit more information. I also recently called a gentleman in the Senior Policy Analyst, Local Government Infrastructure and the Finance Branch, Ministry of Municipal Affairs, Mr. Kevin Leweski, I think his name is. And I asked him basically, is there anything in the Municipal Act that affects the difference between a corporation and a limited partnership as far as the Municipal Act goes? And he said no, that there's no legislation in the Municipal Act that he can think of. No, he's not a lawyer either, he's an analyst, that discusses this particular piece. He did say once you're a corporation or a limited partnership, you become a different entity, a separate legal entity. And unless your articles of incorporation speak to what you can and can't do with your finances, it's wide open. So it appears to me that the Municipal Act or the municipal folks down in Victoria don't have issues with this. Your lawyer does. Now, why he doesn't, whether it's just his opinion, and another lawyer will give you a different opinion, I don't know. For me, the solution might be to have KPMG just chat offline with your lawyer, see where that all ends up, and then come back to us or you guys. We're just trying to do the best and save you money.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here.
Absolutely, and I thank you for that. And we certainly want to do the same thing. We just want to do it properly.
Yeah, you bet.
You know, the real issue, I think, is whether or not those assets are going to be held by the district. And if they are, then we are held by the community charter. We certainly don't want those assets to be held by the community charter because you guys are making 3 times what we can make in interest. So we certainly see the value. commend you for that action. Just don't want to get into a situation where we go into this limited partnership and then all of a sudden the investments have to
Yeah, understand.
to somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's a good idea, Ms. Thompson. As far as the legal opinions, our next closed is when? Sorry, Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. So the next close would be on June the 17th, or June the 21st, sorry, in 2 weeks. We would be able to have a discussion enclosed on there. And then council can have a further discussion on releasing that closed opinion to the community forest in a closed session of their own.
Okay. Yeah, council? Councilor Norbury? Councilor Norbury?
All I really wanted to say is that we absolutely need to get the information, across to our corporation. That some good information that that community forest needs.
Councilor Lehman?
We've been talking about maybe getting an opinion from the CRA, and like Duncan said, we're getting different opinions maybe from different lawyers. Instead of doing that, I know going to the CRA is gonna be a long process, but at least then we should have a definitive answer. And, I think, is it worthwhile waiting to see what they actually say? It may not be a year, but, even the cost, I don't really care. I think once we just need to solve this and figure out which way we're going to go.
Definitively, yes. Go ahead, Al.
I don't want this to sound bad in any way. The community forest manages the business of the community forest board manages the business of the community forest corporation, and to ensure that stays the way it's supposed to stay, if you understand what I'm meaning, with this new information, I think it would be worthwhile for us, the community forest, to have a board meeting to discuss what we've discussed, the new information that we have, and the direction we want to take. We certainly want to meet our owners' expectations on this, and I think that has been loud and clear that, yes, you want you don't want to spend the extra money in taxes if we can help it. What I would suggest to our shareholder is that let us, the community forest, go away, have a board meeting, and come back to, or give the CAO an update as to what direction we think we should take from a business standpoint. And I'm not trying to be demeaning in any way. It's just, I think from a legality standpoint, we need to keep that separate from council's business.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you. Councilor Howe?
What I don't understand is how can we discuss something from closed? We can talk about it, but we can't just give them the legal opinion. Why do we have to go back to closed to release the legal opinion? What's the point of them going back and having a meeting themselves if we can't actually give them the entire legal opinion, the written paperwork, not our verbatim of the way we understood what the lawyer said? Why can't we just give that to them? I don't get that.
Ms. Thompson?
One moment.
Sure.
I've never heard of that. Discuss it outside closed. Either it's in or it's out. News to me
That's what I'm being told.
from our CAO.
Both, yeah.
Because I actually thought there was a way that they said that we could invest it at 6%.
The district could?
Not us, they could. And we were talking, don't take the money out of that account, make sure that they can leave as much money in that account as they can, so they can build as big as they can, pay dividends back out of that. Those were the things we were discussing, because I thought that our guy told us there was a way to do this, but it is not. I change it to an LP. Stay as a corporation.
I think we're actually discussing way too much with physical.
That's right. I understand what you're saying.
We're getting the opinion that we can though, so.
Yes,
General,
Ms. Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. If council wishes, we can make a motion to go into closed and ensure that we have noted that the guests will be invited into closed as well under section 91I. The receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. So council can make that motion at this time, and if you allow us to go into recess after that, so we can copy the information.
Okay. I'll make that motion that we move into closed under 90, for the community charter, section 91I. Receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Seconder, Councillor Howe. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. 5-minute recess, please.
So you'll get us a copy of that as well, Jen?
So now by us going into closed with, okay,
Well, where were
What's that?
I? All right,
I need a burial.
yeah.
Does closed mean that our people can still watch?
I'm not sure what